Welcome back. When we talked about the front bear hug with your arms pinned last time, I mentioned that it is one of the more intimidating situations to find yourself in, and it truly is. On the other hand, it doesn't put that much immediate threat on your life. Most people simply aren't strong enough to squeeze you to death. Bear hug's a bear hug. It's an entree for them to do something else to you. On the other hand, if someone is choking you around the throat with their hands, you are at immediate risk. If they get on the carotid arteries, you'll be blacked out quickly. If they get on the windpipe, you'll be blacked out not quite as quickly, but still quick. And those are the issues we have to address. It can happen from the front, or it can happen from the rear. We're going to show you how to deal with both of them today because the principle of both is the same. Jeremy, if you will join us. Thank you. Okay, now here we have another situation. On the last one, it was, well, if he gets realistically close, you can't see what I'm doing. On this one, if he grabs too tight, I can't talk. And unless you understand, I can't talk too well, we're going to have to keep it a little slack on the neck. That's just the way it goes. Okay, so we're dealing with the front. He has grabbed right here. Now at this point, he's given up 2 of his potential 4 weapons, hasn't he? I've still got all 4. And the first thing that's going to come to mind, well, you could kick him, you could knee him, stuff like that. Maybe. Right now, we're going to focus on how to get away. Because if you knee at someone who's choking you, and maybe up to this point, they're just choking you out of rage or something, okay? Once you try to knee this guy in the groin, he's going to want to kill you. And he's going to really clamp down on this, and you could have a problem. So we want to get loose first. Now remember all the wonderful leverage things we talked about in the same side wrist grab? They start to apply here. Now without telling you yet how we set these up, the way they apply here is I'm going to duck down towards the front. Now you have to go quickly, okay? Because if I let myself get pulled in close into here, when I try to duck down, I just run into his arm. Okay? So we want to make sure his arms are extended, and they usually are. When somebody's choking you, it's usually, they're out here like this. If they're too close, just take a little step back with one foot, or when you take a cross step, pull it tighter. But you're going to step across, bend at the knees, bend forward at the waist, and tuck your head down. The tucking the head down is the most often overlooked thing. But even if I bend, step, and bend, and leave my head up, I'm just going to run into his arm. I've got to get my head down because I want to go under his arm. Now, take a mental snapshot of where his arms are now. What I'll do from this point is just continue with this right foot and step away, get back here, assume a fighting stance, and go on. But I'd like to show you now, I'd like you to focus on his hands and why it works. Okay, when I get low and start my turn, nobody has a lot of strength out to the front. Go down to the gym and see how much weight you can pick up to the front in the front delt raise, and you'll see it's not a whole lot. He simply cannot hold me up. He can't hold any adult up. Maybe a very young child we could pick up in the front, but he can't stop me from going down. Can't stop anybody from going down. So when I go down and start my turn, I'm working against the thumb of his right hand because I'm kind of going in this direction. So if I'm working against the thumb of the right hand, that thumb just became a fulcrum, didn't it? And you've got the long lever across my whole chest. The thumb is the fulcrum. His fingers are the weight on the other end. And we're back to a situation of, can his 3 or 4 fingers stop the power of my body stepping through, pushing off, and doing it fast? And the answer is no. And the additional reason he can't stop it is even if he hangs on good and tight, when I come under, his arms are going to break across themselves right here when I get far enough. So right here just became another fulcrum created by his own arm to this grab on the back of my neck, which has already been weakened by the first fulcrum I explained to you, and away we go. It's just gone, gone, gone. So it would look something like I'm grabbed, I go down, I tuck my head in, I bow out, step away, run, assume a fighting stance if you're cornered, whatever you need to do. But those are the principles. We're back to leverage. You cannot lose when you use leverage. It doesn't happen. You will win every time. Well, how about to the rear? We said the same side wrist grab is totally different than a cross wrist grab. So wouldn't a rear choke be different from a front choke? Well, yeah, it is. But the only difference is that it's his fingers on my carotid arteries and windpipe as opposed to his thumbs. Because if I use the same principles that I just showed you, I wanted to step forward towards him on the previous one to the front, right? I stepped forward towards him. I'm stepping forward towards him now with this foot. Right foot, we call it hiding it, goes here. We bend the knees, we bend a little bit at the waist, and we tuck our head down as we begin to spin. Here goes that first leverage situation. Body weight plus body width against fingers. Here we go. They're crossing up on the wrists again. And I spin out all the way. I take one step away. And the momentum is such that you're going to keep going for a second step to come up into your fighting stance. Now on both of these, that's the getting out part of it. But on the others that we've done, we said, well, we want to give him a reason not to try that again. Here comes the reasons. We're going to use a strike that you haven't seen yet because you haven't needed to see it yet. It is called a ridge hand strike. Now remember on our knife hand strike, we hit like this. We had the thumb pulled back, maybe similar to like cocking a pistol with a thumb, and we tense the muscles and we could hit hard. On the ridge hand strike, the thumb is down. You hide it down. You still tense the hand. This is the ridge that we refer to in the ridge hand strike, that knuckle right there. So how do we employ it in these two choke defenses? On the one coming to the front, okay, what do we do? Drop the weight, bend them, start to bend forward at the waist, tuck the chin, step across. Now, as I'm right into here, ridge hand to the groin. When you hit him like that, once again, he's scooting back. He's going to let go. It doesn't matter if he's still got his hands tangled up. He will be begging you to let go, and away you go. So to complete out the choke from the front, drop, tuck, ridge hand strike as we step up and across. All that neutralizes anything he could be doing with his remaining two weapons. Remember, he's left us all four of our weapons, and we just put one of them to really good use. Strike and turn away. If we were doing it for the rear choke, okay, he grabs us. We'll get him twice this time. Right foot crosses, hides behind me, bend the knees, bend forward, get the head down, back with a knife hand strike. It doesn't matter too much if you hit him or not. He knows he's been hit at and he's scooting. Okay? So, knife hand. And then as we get to this point, doesn't this look like it's just an invitation for a second ridge hand strike? And then we spin away, let the momentum carry us out, and away we go. Okay? Now, without Jeremy being so close, and hopefully if there's been any confusion on how you want to practice this, this will clear it up. On the choke from the front, bend, squat, tuck the chin, ridge hand, this foot's planted right there, this foot's planted back here, fighting stance. On the one where he's behind me, hide the foot, bend, tuck, strike with the knife hand, pivot, strike with the ridge hand. Now, most of your weight, if you're traveling fast at this point, is going to be on your right foot, and you're going to see that you'll end up keeping on spinning away going that far. When you practice, especially the second one at home, make sure you're not wearing tennis shoes and on a sticky floor. You don't want to be twisting your knee like that. Practice it on a floor that's got a little slick surface to it. Not too much. You don't want to spin around and go crash. That's unpleasant too. But be careful of your joints when you practice any of these turning techniques. When you practice any technique, be careful of your joints, but especially on the turning techniques. Okay, so that's how you defeat someone who has grabbed you either from the front with a choke or from the rear with a choke. I hope you found it informative. Talk to you later.